All right, good evening, everyone. We're live. Another TigerBait weekly show brought to you by Pride Roofing. Glad to have you guys with us. We've been growing our audience every week and want to wait for a bunch of you guys to get in here. Let me silence my phone. Certainly want to thank Mike Fereday and Alex Martinez at Pride Roofing for sponsoring us each week, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com. I've got a very nice giveaway that they're a promotion that they've added to their sponsorship of TigerBait, and I think a lot of you are going to be very interested in it. A lot of topics to talk about tonight. When we talked last week, LSU, we thought we were just waiting for the Saints season to end and we'd have a new defensive coordinator and Nielsen earlier this week. That did not happen. And now things have kind of gone quiet. And I think after losing Marcus Freeman, I think Ryan Nielsen opting to stay with the Saints and getting a bigger title and more money. And I know a lot of LSU fans are upset with Sean Payton, thinks he played dirty or hardball. Look, if Nielsen really wanted to be at LSU and wanted to fight that clause in his contract and said, no, there's no money that you can offer me, I want to be a defensive coordinator, I think that's my avenue to becoming a head coach somewhere. Look, every contract has those clauses in the history of coaches making moves, and I think Sean Payton did a better job or a good job of recruiting him to stay in New Orleans. We can talk about that. You guys can debate that if you want. Please do me a favor. Like, share if you're on YouTube. Please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you know we go live each week. Our YouTube channel has been fantastic. I know some people have varying, for some guys our YouTube feed might look a little clearer than our Facebook Live feed, so maybe you guys might want to check that out for yourselves. But we are going to hit all of your comments on both platforms here on our show tonight. And also on Facebook, please hit the like button and share to your feed. Very much appreciated. We've all got other LSU fans that we're friends with on Facebook. Alert them to our show. Very much appreciated. And we're going to do this, continue to do this every week. We've been doing them now since early in the summer. And it's been a lot of fun communicating with you guys each week. And but yeah, let's see. Let's dive right in. Shannon Williams, hey Mike, we're getting let's go. Stephen Dunn, let's go. Leslie Haygood, hey Mike. Zachary Ross, latest on Arik Gilbert and Eli Ricks. I still call him Elias Ricks, having covered him recruiting. Look, I think on Gilbert, I've been saying it from the very beginning. I think it's LSU's chances of holding on to him or getting him back are higher than a lot of other schools having them enroll at their school. Yes, he entered the transfer portal, but LSU's still got the door wide open for him. He's got to fix some things in his life personally, and I think LSU is the place for him to get that done and fixed. And hopefully they can get that done because he's got a bright future. And he's just got to fix some things off the field. And LSU's there with open arms and all their people inside that building to make it happen. So we'll see how that moves forward. But I do like, we'll see how that goes. Look at this, Carl the Cat. Hadn't seen Carl in a while. Nice to see you, Mike. Good to see you too, Carl. Thanks for joining us tonight. Chris with SMS Domain, hello all. Let's see. Good question. Leon Ngchee, Go Tigers, where does Coach O go with the defense search? Look, I think that they're going to be quiet for a while now. Look, we've had, and I didn't mind the very transparent, or if you want to say open. I like the fact that they said, we're going after the top guy that everybody wants, the young up-and-comer in Marcus Freeman. They threw everything at him. They did everything right. I liked them going to Ruth Chris on the opening night with the Verge Osbury and Scott Woodward. And, I don't know, maybe there was the little something they could have tweaked that might have been the difference. I don't know, but it sure seems to me that family won out, the proximity to in-laws, all that was a big factor. We talked about the Catholicism thing, and look, man, if you really would have dove into that and said, you know what, the deciding factor here might be the Catholicism, then maybe could you have gone out and said, look, we've got this many Catholic churches in the Baton Rouge area. That's more than in the county of whatever county South Bend, Indiana is. You got a higher population. I bet you got more Catholics in South Louisiana than you do in that area. But anyways, it's that's done long and gone. But and then I think with Nielsen, it was just deductive reasoning by all of us in the media that he was going to be the guy. And when Orgeron goes on radio and says, we pretty much know who our guy is and we just got to wait. Well, that's telling you're waiting for the NFL season to end and it being Nielsen. So we're going to see how this plays out here. What I do know is that it's not just who LSU's going after. It's the quality coaches that are actually calling LSU with their interest in the job. That job pays very well. I think that there's a lot of very highly qualified defensive coordinators out there that can do the job and catapult LSU from as bad as they were in the final NCAA statistical categories on defense to being much more respectable, particularly with all the talent that's coming back. I think the offensive coordinator hire was the one that you could probably get wrong the easiest. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about tonight was I went to Rohan Davies' 7-on-7 deal on Sunday out in St. Gabriel. And I got to see Reese Mooney from Denham Springs. I got to see Walker Howard out there. I got to see Shelton Sampson. We've got that video up on TigerBait.com. You want to subscribe and check that out. Nobody does video better than we do. Walker Howard throwing strikes to Shelton Sampson. It was something to see. But having talked to Walker and having talked to Jamie Howard and the conversations they had with Jake Peets, coming off of having already watched his opening press conference last week, they are very much impressed and excited about the future, as are all of the offensive players in the program, I'm told, and recruits are very excited. So I think Jake Peets is a home run, and so I think they can do the same thing on defense, and I think they're going to be fine. So we'll see how this goes from here. Let me get to some more of your comments. I forgot Elias Ricks, your question. I talked about Gilbert. Eli Ricks. I think it's very logical that Rashawn Davis, linebacker from California, committed to LSU for a long time. Those two are friends. Knowing Eli Ricks and, how talkative he is and, very much a high-strung guy that can talk smack and talk a big game, it would absolutely not surprise me if he was out saying, I might want to go to Ohio State, but it absolutely makes no sense. He's been working out with the team all week, projected starter. And when I look at LSU's football team, the schedule, I think LSU is about to bounce back in a big way in 2021. I'm very high on LSU next season. Very much in the 9-3 category easy, and you could even see a 10-2 if you get the right hire on defense and you stay healthy. I think the offensive line is going to be less of a question mark than it has been going into seasons the last 2 or 3 years. So with everybody coming back, I think there's a lot to be excited about. I think the biggest question mark on the team next year is linebacker and maybe punter. And, man, you got Avery Atkins and Peyton Todd going to duel that out. So got to be absolutely excited about the quarterback competition we're about to see in spring football. Wally Tarver, Mike, I just want to say thanks for doing an awesome job covering LSU recruiting inside news. Thanks, sir, for doing an outstanding job. Thanks for the kind words, Wally. Very much appreciated. I don't know if I've mentioned it yet, but this is the 25th anniversary of TigerBait.com this year. And I'm trying to figure out what we're going to do later in the year. If COVID breaks and we're able to go somewhere and have some drinks and have a patio at some restaurant and do some sort of appreciation party. I'm looking at all sorts of options for what we can do to celebrate TigerBait's 25th year. And many of you have been subscribers with us off and on or from the very beginning, and very much appreciative of everybody who's been with us for many years. So much appreciated. Mike McGrath. What about Jack Del Rio? Yeah. Mick McGrath, excuse me. Yeah, I haven't heard that. Terrell Guidry. Jim Leonard will be LSU's next DC. Okay. We'll see. We'll see on that. Josh Sibley. There he is. Congrats on the big 25, Mike. Josh Sibley with Lafayette Gridiron Football, a good buddy of ours. Let's see. Jason Poche. All right, now we're even bringing in high school classmates. Congrats on the 25 years, Mike. Glad to have you with us, Jason. And Jason, we were supposed to have our 25th, no, it's not 25. 35? 35-year high school reunion that got canceled. Terra High School. And Jason was finally going to show up to one, and then COVID got us. So Mike Fereday, Pride Roofing, can chip in on the 25th anniversary party. Now, see, Mike Fereday is our guy with Pride Roofing, and wait till I talk about our promo tonight. You guys are going to love that one, particularly if you need a roof. I'm about to talk to about that here in a little bit. Let's see. He backed off that commit already, Dorian Starkey. Who's that? Fill us in. What am I missing? Scott Patty, good riddance to Pelini. Thought it was a bad move bringing him back on. Was not surprised with what he brought to the table or lack thereof. You know, I think Bo Pelini was as sick as LSU fans were about what transpired last year. You know, I know all the former players that he coached at LSU. You know, before he left for Nebraska, they absolutely loved Bo Pelini. I don't know what the mixture was of those who liked him and loved him or hated him on this last year's team. But even at Nebraska, the way he exited, fans might not have liked him. Administration at Nebraska might not have liked him, but the players loved him. And that's been everywhere he's gone. So we'll see how it plays out. But yeah, it didn't work out. And we'll see where he ends up. But he's definitely walking away with some cash. Chris Bordelon, congrats on 25 years. Talking about quarterback. I can't wait to see what Nussmeier can do. Yeah, came in a little light. Was out there 172 pounds. I can't imagine it being long before he's 185. Might take 4 weeks, 6 weeks. I've had several meals in that LSU football facility, that new nutritional center that was built right there in the front lobby of the football facility. And I don't know how it's impossible to put on weight. There's so much food there, and an ice cream machine, soft serve ice cream that the players can just go up and eat ice cream. Certainly they've got dietitians there to monitor the guys that have to stay away from that stuff and to block them if they try and get towards that machine. But for the guys like Garrett Nussmeier, and of course Miles Brennan was looking to gain weight, and he finally got it on. Like a lot of us when we hit college that were skinny coming out of high school, he put it on. I'm going to be real anxious to see how quick Garrett Nussmeier adds the muscle and the weight. You know, a lot of high school kids don't eat the number of meals they're supposed to eat each day. They do a lot of work, a lot of physical activity. Some of them that play multiple sports. Some of the football players on lower classification football teams playing both ways. For a lot of them, and speaking of that, guys that play both ways, Bo Bordelon offered a scholarship by LSU earlier this week. Nobody's been covering Bo like I have since the 9th grade. First camp is a 9th grader. And 6'5", 255 pounds right now. Projects as a left tackle. Started his career at tight end. Of course, him and his little brother transferred to Newman. And he's on the offensive line in front of Arch Manning. And of course, you got AJ, the wide receiver that LSU's offered, class of 2022 on that team as well. And the younger brother, Brett Bordelon, is going to be a 9th grader. I'm told he's 6'3", 240 right now. He's going to be a right tackle. So you're going to have Bordelons, possibly could be the right tackle. We'll see how it plays out. Maybe he's guard. I don't know. you could have a borderline on at left and right tackle for the Newman Greenies in front of Arch Manning. But that was big news earlier this week. Bo Bordelon gets an offer, offensive tackle. So you add that to Will Campbell, who's going to make a decision on January 30th from Neville. And I've been saying all along, my projection on Will is to LSU. Him and Walker Howard are very close. Emory Jones. So, look, Bo gets the offer. By the way, this is something I want to bring up tonight. Every time I do a story on Bo Bordelon or his name gets out there, I'm going to ask LSU fans out there, please police Twitter, Facebook, other message boards. You know the free one I'm talking about where you can get a little rowdy. Every time Bo Bordelon's name comes up, here comes the comments about his mom and the Get the Gat video at the White House. And can you imagine what that must be like for a young man and everybody talking about his mom? Y'all guys, just do, if you see LSU fans doing that in the comments section on Twitter, try and keep them in line. Let's, it's going to get to the point where I imagine over time he's not going to want any stories written about him because he don't want to read the comments section. Look, his mom's a pretty lady and great family, but man, enough's enough already with with all that. So y'all kind of watch that on message boards. Let this guy go through the recruiting process, and we start writing about what visits he goes on and what other offers he gets and how he went from 255 to 280. And we start writing all that stuff. It don't need to be always about comments like that. So Blaine Smith. Blaine would be a guy. I know Blaine. Blaine would be a guy that would be out there being a hall monitor. We need all y'all to be hall monitors on that going forward. Social media is a cesspool. I agree with you, Blaine. Mr. R.R. Mickey Ricks is not transferring. I agree with that. Sometimes it gets to be the silly season, so we will see. All right. Yes. Does Gilbert come back? Talked about that earlier. I like LSU's chances with Arik. They just need to get things fixed with him, and we'll see how things plan out. But I've never wavered on him not getting back to LSU. I know everything I've been told was that the mom wanted him at LSU, back at LSU, so we'll see. Hunter John Daigle, any updates on the defensive coordinator search? Just that it's real quiet. I know there's been talk about the defensive coordinator, the co-defensive coordinator at Georgia. I don't know that his resume really lights anybody up or is going to give you the wow factor that you were looking for or that you thought you would have gotten with Freeman or Nielsen. But look, when the caliber of LSU's program, the amount of money they pay, the amount of talent that's returning, the amount of talent that's going to be on the board for 2022, it is a very lucrative and it's a job that can catapult a bright young coach into bigger things, and that needs to be the MO of LSU's coaching search in the way they do that. Tommy Brooks, encouraged by the returning players, Tigers circling the wagons, unfinished business. I agree with you, Tommy. Guys, do me a favor, hit like, share. I try to hit y'all with that several times during these broadcasts. Please hit the like button, share whether you're on YouTube or Facebook. Very much appreciated. And somebody else I'm very appreciative of is Pride Roofing. And of course, the official roofing company of TigerBait.com went out there last Thursday to Albany to their plant, and it's absolutely fantastic. Mike Fereday and Alex Martinez, absolutely fantastic people. The best warranty on labor in the roofing industry in South Louisiana. And we've got a promo right now. We talk about it every week, the free roof inspection, commercial or residential. Free roofing inspections that they give. If you call them with a free roofing inspection, and we want you to call the 225 number, 225-275-2041. If you tell them you heard about it on TigerBait.com and you get that free roof inspection, you will get a free 1-year subscription to TigerBait.com while supplies last. So jump on that, call the 225 number, tell them that you heard about them on TigerBait, you want your roof inspection, and if you tell them you heard about them here on TigerBait.com, you will get 1 year of TigerBait.com for free. So if you're in need of a roof and you've been putting it off, and maybe that's a little bit of juice to put you over the top, a free subscription to TigerBait, give them a call. Absolutely fantastic people. I grew up with Mike in Sherwood Forest, Broadmoor High School grad, an LSU grad, and absolutely fantastic people. I love the fact that, you know, the shows that we do and the sponsors we have, I'm actually good friends with them and I can vouch for them, and there's nobody better than that. I went out into their yard, and obviously with all the storms we've had in South Louisiana, all the way to Sulphur, Lake Charles, how bad that area got hit, Gulfport, the North Shore, Covington, St. Tammany Parish, all of it. They've got enough shingles in that yard, which are hard to come by. Anybody who's in the construction business knows this. They've got enough shingles in that yard to do 100 roofs, and it's phenomenal. They've got all their own equipment. They make their own flashing. They're not using builder grade flashing, the kind of stuff that's like aluminum foil that you can bend or break, or it's going to bend as soon as you put a ladder up against your roof. They make their own, and it's like the gauge of the steel is unbelievable. They spent a fortune on all their own equipment, and they've got a secret weapon machine and a trailer that they pull for what they do on some of their roofs. And I'm telling you, these guys are crackerjack. You know, there's other roofing companies out there with guys that have never wielded a hammer or have ever been on top of a roof. These guys are licensed contractors, bonded, insured, Better Business Bureau, A+ rating, legit. So give Pride Roofing a call, tell them TigerBait, and you get 1 year of TigerBait for free. You can't beat that. Pride Roofing LLC, the greatest roofing company in South Louisiana. We're proud to have them on board with us. So give them a call. Let's see. Mike Smith, you got the big question of the night. Mike, what are your thoughts on Brian Thomas signing with LSU? You want to talk about something going quiet like LSU's defensive coordinator search? That's Brian Thomas at Walker. You know, one of the few guys that we're following here and who's going to sign in the second signing period. Got a spot for LSU. I talked to Jason Howell. Of course, he works with TexAgs.com. I'll go back many years with him when he was the regional analyst on a national network that I was a part of. And nobody does Texas A&M recruiting better than him. And A&M has really got the door wide open for Brian Thomas. So a lot of people thought for months it was an LSU-Alabama battle. It could very well be an LSU-Texas A&M battle. We're going to see how this plays out here in the coming night. Blaine Smith, bringing up basketball. Would have beaten the Pelicans that night. Alabama was unconscious from three-point range, no doubt. That was just unbelievable. And I liked Will Wade's comments on his show last night. You know, you're not as bad. What is it? You're not as bad as your worst 5 games, and you're not as good as your best 5. You want to be somewhere in the middle. He said they weren't as good as their 40-6 run. Is that the right spread? 40-6. 40-6 run against Arkansas. And they're not as bad as they looked in Alabama's barrage of 3-pointers to start the game Tuesday night. So real big chance to bounce back 5 o'clock Saturday afternoon, early Saturday evening against Kentucky at Rupp. And I think they're going to bounce back in a big way, probably embarrassed by the way they looked. Man, there was parts of that game Tuesday night where they didn't look bad. It's just, I mean, unconscious is the word that Blaine used, and he's absolutely right. Chance Babin, Moko, yeah, we're wanting to talk to Jordan Moko, the Australian, Snow College out in Utah. And, you know, look, he's getting offers. I know he tweeted out the other night he got an offer from Auburn, LSU, Texas A&M, and Oregon. You know, were put a part of his final 3 or his top 3 that he put out. I don't know if he's altering that and adding any more. So we'll see if LSU's a school for him. But he's been getting real quiet, and I've reached out to him many times to say, let's do an interview. You will do Zoom. I'll pay the international call if you're still in Australia. Whatever it takes for us to get an interview, and I've had no luck. So we're gonna keep trying. Jared James Smith, thanks for all the info over the years, Mike. Much appreciated for the kind words. Y'all, please subscribe to TigerBait. We want to have you as a premium subscriber. And like I tell y'all every week, go. You know, when you go to subscribe to TigerBait, choose the annual package. because you get 3 months. Basically, you're getting 3 months free when you choose the annual. It's a lot less expensive than doing the monthly. You also get the spousal acceptance factor, where she's not seeing that, or he, it could be the wife is the bigger LSU fan, but your spouse isn't going to raise Cain when you're getting billed every month. You just get it once a year. We do it like Amazon Prime and Costco. They do it like that for a reason. It's better psychologically, and you save money with us when you do that. Ronald John Ellis. Any news on the investigation? Thanks. Look, we were told several months ago that they would wrap it up mid-February or by the end of February. I don't know if that time frame is either going to be, if it's going to come earlier than that or if it's going to be late. I know LSU would love for it to be early. I know the football coaches would love for it to be early, and let's get it behind them so that way it's not something that's being used against them on the recruiting trail in a negative way. But I haven't heard anything new on the timetable being moved, or that's going to be a deal where they're going to release it all at one time. And I will say this: what I have heard though is when we've read those stories, and whether it was USA Today or the local paper picking it up and adding a few other things to it. It sure looks to me the names that were in the stories, people saying, oh, Verge Osbury's in trouble, or Sharon Lewis is in trouble, or Mickey Joseph's in trouble, or whoever, Miriam Segar. It sure sounds to me one by one, and just talking to my sources, and every one of those people feels secure, like they Now, somebody, going to get slapped on the wrist, or there's going to be an apology. I mean, look, it's a sticky situation. But is it going to be one of those deals where it's, look, we've got new safeguards going to be installed. This is what we got plans going forward. This person could have done this better. There was a part here that we fell down. But I'm not hearing now where anybody's going to lose their job. But I say that now, and then watch a month from now when it rolls out, or whenever it rolls out, 2 people end up getting a boot. But based on what I know right now, I'm the people that people thought were in trouble. I don't think that's going to happen. Josh Sibley, they hired a new defensive line coach. You talking about LSU, Josh? Let's see. Do you think the next defensive coordinator will stay a while? Well, it depends on who he is. Had it been Nielsen, I think maybe it would have been short-lived, but that's okay if he does a fantastic job. Look what Nick Saban has done. He's gone out and hired 2 coaches that were NFL head coaches. You want to get your program to that point where you just reload, and it's every fantastic coach knows I can go to LSU for a year and do very, very well and raise my stock back up and get another head job somewhere. The worst case is you always have a staff that's in the same place at the same time. That's when you can get stagnation. It's actually good to have a shakeup on your staff. And in LSU's case, to get some infusion of some youth, hopefully. Get some more guys that can recruit. So let's see what I'm missing here. Any other questions? I'm worried about our younger offensive line transferring. Yeah, I mean, look, this is going to be a very pivotal spring, Blaine. It's we need. I think Anthony Bradford. They're real excited about him. I think he's got the biggest chance of the youngsters. I want to see what Dilmerville looks like, Martinez. But I think probably the 2 biggies that you hope are going to make moves and stake a claim to the next heir apparent, are the guys that are ready to step up. If someone gets a high ankle sprain next season, you want to see Thomas Perry and Cardell Thomas do something. But if they get mired on the depth chart, or you got some new guys come in and leap right over them, I can see some transfer portal stuff happening. But it's time for those 3 guys, and particularly 2 of them, Perry and Thomas, to make a move. Anything after this spring as to why they're not hitting the field, or if you're not hearing Orgeron talk about them, about how he's impressed with how they're looking and how they're where they need to be, then any of the rest of it that you're going to be getting is going to be nothing but excuses. So, Pat Mashburn, my buddy from the North Shore, great show. Thanks, Pat, much appreciated. Do you think they'll give Brick Haley a call? I don't. I'm wondering what's going to happen with Christian Locatour long term. I'd rather go youth, but no, I think Brick Haley's probably done as far as LSU. Any Tennessee guys that might be interested in. If I think we're at a precarious spot in college football right now where you've got what looks like a lot of meddling. I was on with Eric Asher in New Orleans this afternoon, and having covered football recruiting as long as I have, one of the things we would always say, and particularly when I would talk to guys who cover basketball recruiting nationally, I'm like, man, I'm so glad football recruiting isn't as dirty and as nasty as college basketball recruiting is. And I believe now that football recruiting has surpassed basketball as far as how filthy it is. I see so much stuff, having done this for so long and seeing how the sausage is made and what goes on out there, it would curl your hair, some of the stuff that you see out there. And over the years, it's gotten ramped up triple. It's amazing what goes on in football recruiting. So, but back to the question, Dorian, is, people talking about, Georgia was meddling with Gilbert or Ojolari or, maybe Ohio State with Ricks or whatever, was out there. The NCAA is really going to have to do something. The SEC, the conference is going to have to do something. I get we're in a COVID time, but now with all the legislation that's going out there and college football looking more and more like semi-pro football. In fact, you could argue probably that it already is, but that's going to get worse. And if you're going to make this whole free agency thing, and I see guys, talking heads on ESPN saying that guys, should be able to transfer one time or they should have unlimited transfers. I mean, it's really getting crazy out there. And a guy like Elias Ricks, Eli Ricks, it's like, man, you're talking about a guy who's slotted as a returning starter, one of the top freshmen in all of college football. Makes no sense. You don't want this stuff to be like free agency in NFL football is what I'm getting at. Let's see. We are running out of options. Raymond should be considered. I don't see Corey Raymond as a defensive coordinator. I just don't. I know I say it every week. I'm not picking on Corey. But I think he's a position coach. I think if he wants to be a defensive coordinator, he's probably got to go to a mid-major program and get it done there before you would give him the reins at a school like LSU. So I probably said that several times, but yeah. Dorian, the linebacker in the portal, Henry Toto. I haven't heard anything, but that doesn't mean it's not a possibility. Because I think LSU, are they going to hold back one spot? Are they going to hold back two spots? I like the idea of holding back a couple. Get your staff in place, go to spring football, knock on wood, you don't have any catastrophic injuries, and then see what you need if you need something, and you'll have that spot if you need it. So hold on to those spots for 2022, man. I keep telling you guys, I'm working up my early rankings for the class of 22 in the state of Louisiana, and this state is absolutely loaded. Hold on to those spots. So, how do you feel about LSU landing Schumann as defensive coordinator? Yeah, I talked about him earlier, Travis. I look at his bio. Look, maybe you bring him in for an interview, talk to him. Maybe he's a guy that you wows in the interview, and maybe that's the difference. But his resume, his age, and what he's done so far doesn't really light the fire for me. But we'll see. All right. Okay, guys, I tell you what, you guys get some more questions in. What do you guys think about LSU baseball? I was listening, I was talking to a few guys today, and a lot of pitching coming back for LSU. What do you guys, what's the lowest minimal that you will accept out of LSU baseball this year? What does Paul Mainieri have to do to make it so you're not wanting Scott Woodward to make a move? Is it Omaha only? Just host a super regional? Just a regional? What does Paul Mainieri need to do with this team? Where does he need to finish in the SEC to where you're not saying, okay, it's enough already? We're now 21. What is that now? 11 years past the 2009 national championship. That seems like yesterday to some, feels like an eternity for a lot of LSU baseball season ticket holders. So, love some recruiting, says Jared James Smith. Yeah, we've got a lot of it for you on TigerBait.com. Go subscribe. Again, guys, I'm going to keep bringing up Pride Roofing. If you need your roof inspected, maybe you're a year away. Maybe it's time for you to make the move, and this puts you over the top. Call Pride Roofing. Tell them you heard about them on TigerBait.com, and they'll come out and give you a free inspection, and you'll get 1 year of TigerBait for free for getting that roofing inspection. So you cannot beat that, and we're going to run that promo until the number of slots we have run out. So be sure to call that number right there, 225-275-2041. Tell them you heard about it on TigerBait, and you will get TigerBait free for a year. And if you don't need a new roof because you got a new house or your roof's in great shape, we want you as a subscriber anyways. Go to TigerBait and choose the annual package. Ryan and Amanda Guidry. The SEC is loaded this year, but supposedly we have one of the best talented teams. I agree. Omaha, they need to make it too. I agree. I don't know that you can, if you don't get to host a super, you better win it. I think they've got to get to Omaha. I think people, I've talked to some LSU baseball people, guys who actually buy tickets and are there. And I keep saying it, and it's, kind of throwing some shade at Mainieri. But, man, if that LSU season it kept on going and we didn't have COVID and the trajectory of where they were heading last year, about on their way to Oxford to play Ole Miss, and everybody was wondering if they would even win one game. Had that season played out and continued the way they had started, he would surely be on the hot seat right now going into this year. So COVID might have saved Paul Mainieri in that regard. Let's see. Yes. Tosh Lapoy is available, former Bama defensive coordinator, coach last year with the Falcons, good resume. Look, I think Ed Orgeron and Derek Panamsky and all those guys in the building are making a lot of calls. I think they've got a bigger worksheet than a lot of people think. Just because things are quiet doesn't mean they're not talking to a lot of people. And I like the first two guys that didn't happen, and I think the third guy, with the money they have to spend, what they've got to sell, they're going to get somebody crackerjack in here. And look, I don't think you have to have a top 10 defense. I think with the offense LSU's going to have next year, if you can get a guy who can come in here and get you in the 30s or the 40s in total defense, you're going to win a lot of games, 10 or 11 games. It's all structured on offense these days. Brian Allen, decommitted. Any chance we get him back? Yeah, I was out this morning and I got in my vehicle and saw that he had decommitted. The word I get is that there's still LSU could still recruit him and get him back. But how often do you see that happen? It's not very often that comes to fruition. We'll see how that plays out for LSU. Eric DeLyon, Paul needs to walk. It's time. Underachieved with the talent for too long now, like Les did. Time to make the change. Look, we'll see. It's one of those deals where you can say, well, I don't know, what was it, Baseball America or Collegiate Baseball, the first poll that came out late December, had him like 8th or 9th. I can't remember. But you had 3 SEC teams ahead of him. It's like, is that acceptable these days? People are getting tired of the excuses. And And I guess maybe I kind of talked to some of the guys that cover the beat. I think one of the problems you got in Baton Rouge is you got a very compliant media out there. No denying Coach Maneri is a nice guy and this and that, but your football coaches don't get that much latitude. Have Coach, let's see, Brian Allen, pitching has to be the key. Yeah, and that's one of the things that's going to be the strength of this team for sure. Russ Callaway as an on-the-field coach this year, no. LSU's got their passing game coordinator. You got Munoz back in the building. And, of course, Pete's is your offensive coordinator. So the offensive staff is set. So that's not going to happen with Callaway. And he's right in that boat, on the offensive side of the ball. As I always bring up Christian Lockett tour. What's his future long term? A lot of those guys in those positions, don't have enough money to go to 5 guys on a Friday night. All right, guys, let's see what we got here. Eric Herbst, PM, needs to host a super regional. That's it. He just needs to host, Eric. Doesn't need to win it. Doesn't need to get to Omaha. I think we got a lot of other people in here that disagree. Well, hold on. I tell you what, you got someone who's right there with you. Hadley Vowell. Vowell or Vowell. Super regional at least with all this returning on this team. Yep. So look, baseball season is here. So we're just a few weeks away. So, all right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. 41 minutes. Thanks to all of you for being with us tonight. Like, subscribe, come to TigerBait, try us out, buy the annual package. Basically get 3 months free. Don't forget the promo at Pride Roofing I've been telling you about all night. Absolutely phenomenal. Jump on that, get your free inspection, and get you a year's subscription to TigerBait.com, and they'll get you hooked up. Be sure to say you saw them on TigerBait. And we'll see you on my TigerBait Premium message board. I'm there day and night answering your questions, recruiting around the clock, and we'll see if it gets interesting in the next couple of weeks between recruiting, defensive coordinator search, editor staff filling out the rest of the staff, and basketball on Saturday and baseball season here. So all we need now is spring football dates, and we're going to be real busy on TigerBait.com. So thank you guys for being with us, and we'll see you next week here on the TigerBait live show and sponsored by Pride Roofing. Good night, y'all.